I know this is not the kind of video I usually make, but the two most interesting things, the two things that I have the most interest in my life right now are fashion and philosophy. And I don't mean philosophy in such a grand way, I just mean like the idea of examining the thoughts that enter your mind, questioning the thoughts and belief systems that you have. That's already philosophy. And Socrates has a very popular and great quote, which is, "The unexamined life is a life not worth living." And the reason I want to talk about the idea of stopping your inner critic or the idea of self-love is because it's a journey that I've been on for the past 1 year. And it's really not easy because you have to confront beliefs and thoughts that have been ingrained in you for such a long time, maybe even ever since childhood, and it's just not a comfortable process. But I'm making this video to just kind of talk about it and as a kind of reminder to myself, so that maybe a few years down the line I can look back on this video and be like, damn, I've made a lot of improvements. And I have made a lot of improvements already. Actually, just even making this video is such a huge step for me. So on the topic of self-love, it's kind of unfair, isn't it, that we're able to give our friends and loved ones so much grace whenever they are not at their best, whenever they fail. But when it comes to us, we don't allow ourselves that grace. We instead resort to criticizing and making fun and shaming ourselves. And the really dangerous part, vicious part about this is that every time you do that, it kind of reinforces the idea in your mind. Your mind keeps track, and it becomes easier for your brain to bring that back up. So it just becomes a whole loop and vicious cycle. Every time you do it, it gets stronger, and you run into some really serious problems. We have this idea that having an inner critic allows us to perform at our best, allows us to get things done, allows us to achieve great successes. And this may be true in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to be a very toxic fuel. You're going to end up with, maybe you end up with a lot of achievements, but you'll be so miserable and so unhappy with yourself that you can't even enjoy the achievements and accolades that you worked so hard to get. I mean, just imagine in the scenario of a pro athlete. When they know when they want to perform at their best, when they want to do their best, when they want to achieve the greatest things, they have to hire a coach that believes in them, that encourages them, that wants them to win, that gives them respect. They're not gonna get a childhood bully, they're not gonna get their biggest hater to come along with them onto the court. That's just not how that works. So why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we believe that our inner critic is the one that's actually driving all our success? It's quite backward, isn't it? We will achieve way more success, and enjoy it way more happiness, more contentment if we lead with self-love and self-respect. There's also a tendency to believe that, okay, it's fine. Once I achieve a certain level, then I'll be happy. I don't have to do it now. I don't have to have self-love now. But once I get $1 million, then of course I'll be happy. Of course I'll have all the self-respect. But we know that's never really going to be the case. There's a saying that, if you can't be happy with a coffee, you won't be happy on a yacht. So if you still have this inner self-critic, you feed into it more. Even if you achieve $1 million, you'll be like, okay, but why not 2 million? So that's not really productive. And the way I've been improving myself, and the way I think we all should start by, is kind of bringing awareness to when we're criticizing ourselves. Whenever we do it, whenever we say, oh, I'm too fat, I'm too ugly, kind of stopping in the moment and acknowledging it and being like, okay, that was not a very nice thing of me to say. I don't really want to say that again. And having this kind of awareness, bringing your awareness to this already puts you on the right track of stopping these thought patterns. And it's not going to be easy. It's kind of like a daily thing you have to do, but it is simple and it is worth it in the end. I mean, you spend the most time with yourself, right? And you bring such a unique value and presence to the world that only you can bring. So I don't think it's fair for you to be so hard on yourself and to criticize yourself all the time. Yeah, I just want to say you got this. I believe in you. And again, if you can just start by catching yourself in the act of self-criticizing, I think you'll be on the right track. Thank you.